Kit, how important was not only the result but the performance, the resilience and the spirit that was shown on Tuesday night at Molineux?
Yeah, very important. We needed a result. We'd been playing okay, but I said to the players before the game, okay is not good enough. We've got to have that little bit extra to make the difference, to create the goal scoring opportunity to score the goal. So we played right. Possession wise, we've done okay in the previous games. We've not really had that cutting edge. We needed more forward runners without the ball, more penetration, more crosses, more shots on target, and we certainly got that. The first half especially I thought was excellent. Did really, really well. Had a lot of chances. The only disappointment at half time was that we were only one goal up, really. I thought probably our play and the chances we had, we deserved to be more than one goal up. Against a good side in Wolves as well, so they made a couple of good changes for them that made them better. And they came out and started getting on top second half. We changed the shape a little bit, which should have nullified it. But then they managed to get the goal, get themselves back in the game, and then get their noses in front, which was very disappointing by the way we played. But then, as you said, the character, the resilience is really good within the group, and we ground out a 3-3, and then obviously the penalties are excellent. And
for Cooley too, who's had a number of chances in previous games but just not been able to convert them, it was really important for him to get on the score sheet and get some confidence going.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's a typical striker, Cooley. If he plays a couple of games and doesn't score, he sort of worries about it. And I'd spoke to him previously and said, listen, you're working hard, you're playing well, you're doing okay, but just that little bit extra, don't beat yourself up about it. But the fact he scored two was like a weight off his shoulders, and he's been a happy boy since then, that's for sure.
A good game against a good Championship side, as you say, should set everything up in the right way for tomorrow's encounter against Reading.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact we went to extra time, I wouldn't have ideally picked that, but even so, we've recovered very well. The trainings, obviously, we've been mindful of the intensity and the amount of training we've done subsequently from the extra time, and we'll go into it in good shape tomorrow. There's a couple of the boys, obviously Kaka and Ryan Tunnicliffe, couldn't feature in the cup game, but they'll both be available for tomorrow as well. So we got a couple of fresh legs around the squad at least.
Obviously, Sean Kavanagh came off and was limping, and it was a really bad cut. So how's his progress, and anyone else that we should know about that's other than the long-term absentees? Yeah,
he's coming on, Sean. It was, as you say, a nasty cut in a really awkward place. So he's had stitches put in that, so he can't sort of bend his knee too much at the moment. Otherwise, obviously, it will burst the stitches. So he's got to be very careful with that. And he'll realistically be probably about 10 days out with that. I would think, again, it's one of those you can't rush. Lass Christensen's coming on really, really well. But again, with him now, we're going to make sure we get a week's training into him. So he'd be pushing for Wednesday, but we won't risk him. We'll wait. Hopefully then he'll be fit for selection for the Sunderland game.
And Brian obviously has been absent for the last two.
Yeah, Brian's back now. He's been in training. He's had a slight foot problem that he was able to do the majority of the training, certainly, but there were certain instances that caused him a problem with it. I spoke to him this morning. That's fine now. So he's fit for selection to be involved tomorrow as well now, which is good news.
In terms of Reading, defeated only once under Steve Clarke in this kind of resurgence. What are you going to do tomorrow? What will you do differently? Or tell us a little bit about your game plan.
Well, similar to the Wolves performance, we need to focus on what we do and getting our shots and being very attacking minded in our play and have that extra penetration that I felt we had certainly first half and for the majority of the game against Wolves that had probably been lacking. And it wasn't. That's why we weren't playing badly by any stretch. Just not quite well enough to warrant winning games of football, and they're very fine margins. But no, we'll look to be sort of solid and strong tomorrow. But then with that extra cutting edge and that threat in behind, and look to expose the things we've talked about and we've looked at as their weaknesses where we think we can hurt them.
We've talked about the tough start to the season, obviously leaving Fulham in a deficit when it comes to points, so a few losses can make the table look a pretty scary, ugly place to be. With two home games coming up in quick succession, albeit against great teams, you now have an opportunity to climb back up again a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It's I would like to think that myself and the team will be judged by how we do come the end of the season. So you're going to get little blips and lose a couple here, win a couple there, and it's things sort of even themselves out. But ideally we'd like to get a good little run going, especially at home in front of our supporters, who were brilliant up at Wolves, by the way, I've got to say. So yeah, we got, let's say, the 2 home games, Reading, Forest. We're looking for maximum points from those 2 games, but so will those 2 clubs. So it's tough, as we know, but we're confident, and again, it's a good place. The boys are in good form and good spirits, and I'm very confident going into the games.
And a couple of good news stories: Cameron Burgess and George Williams both signing contract extensions. Cameron going out on loan to get some football. Tell us a little bit about the why to both of those young players.
Yeah, both excellent young players. We've got, I think everyone knows, we've got a lot of really good young players in and around our first team squad at the moment. Cam was one who came in early part of the season, acquitted himself well. Got a lot of developing, a lot of learning to do, as he'd be the first one to admit. But he's I think will be a good player for this football club. So hence the extension to the contract. But also I think he's at a stage now. He'd had a little taste of first team football at the start of the season, and we need that to continue now. The under-21 league is a very good competitive league. Obviously he's getting some excellent coaching with Peter Grant. But there comes a stage when we feel they're ready then for that first team football on a regular basis, and that will be their next step. And Cam's very much in that category.
And George?
Yeah, well, George, I spoke to him the other day as well, and he's surpassed any expectations he could have had, or we could have had for him. Obviously he's broken into the first team group and made several starts for us, quite a few sub appearances. Internationally, he's burst onto the scene there as well. So he would be the first one to admit, I'm sure, he's way ahead of schedule. But he needs to keep his head down, keep working hard, as all our young players do. And they're in a good place to learn and develop and progress. So I know we're delighted that George has signed as well. So like I said, we've got a great group of young players coming through that could be very, very important to this football club for a long time to come.
And the regular question until January the 31st, any incomings, any outgoings?
Nothing on either at the moment, really. And we're looking at both as well, without a doubt. For sure, if I could get in the right players, I'd get them in. No qualms at all. Wouldn't give it a second thought. But they've got to be the right players. Now, the players we're looking at are very good. So whether we get them or not will remain to be seen. But we're actively in that market, looking to strengthen the squad, as I'll constantly do.
And the chairman fully supportive of that. And in terms of with good players come big price tags, but that is something. Yeah,
but again, it's we looking to get people in at the right price. I want value for this football club. I wouldn't quite say I'll spend the money as if it was my own, but not far off really, because it's important that we do the right things for the football club, and I'm very conscious of that. But yes, I want good players. We've got an awful lot here. If we can get some more in who are the right characters as well, fantastic. They'll help everyone.
We wish you luck.
Thank you.